Alright, I'm bored as hell. Nothing else to do. I don't even want to do this. But I have nothing else to do. And I figured if I film one of these stupid fucking videos, it'll give me something to edit. And therefore give me something to do. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk about some records, some shit I haven't shown you. Some of this shit I've had for a long fucking time. And some of it is brand fucking new. So we're just going to talk about some shit, and let's do it. First of all, this is what we're listening to. This showed up today. This is the new Black Magick SS, I don't know, EP, album, I'm not sure. It's only 6 songs long. Spectral Ecstasy. This is my favorite thing that's come out this year. This is easily the best thing that Black Magick SS has done. Honestly, if Black Magick SS had taken 10 years between Kaleidoscope Dreams and this, if had this come out after a 10-year gap, I would have been like, holy shit, they used every second of that 10 years to make the best thing that I think this band is even. I don't know how it can get better than this, but they didn't. This came out fucking a year after Kaleidoscope Dreams, and it sounds like, you know, it's something they could have taken a long time to craft and make perfect. I absolutely fucking love this, and I'm gonna put a link in the description where you can listen to this in its entirety. This is, man, nothing's gonna come out this year and beat this. This is fucking perfect. So Black Magick SS Spectral Ecstasy, man, fucking sweet. All right, so I got some records here. 2 7-inch records, 5 or 12-inch records. You guys know the drill. You know how this works. So let's get into it. The first thing I have here is a 7-inch that I picked up at a show that I went to recently. This is a Cult Burial with Skeletal Laughter. I think it was last Wednesday, a week ago from today. I went down to Lexington, a place called the Green Lantern. So I actually got this shirt at the same show. I went to see a Cult Burial, but they played with a band called Black Rat and another band called Pyromancer. I got there right when Pyromancer started to play, and fucking hell, man, this shit was so good. The whole room smelled like incense. They had like bones and shit piled in front of the stage, and there was literally like 22 people at this show. The room was super small, the atmosphere was fucking crazy, and they just played a killer fucking set. For me, it stole the whole show. But I went to see a Cult Burial, and again, man, fucking blew me away. If you're not familiar with a Cult Burial, they're from Canada, and they play like, kind of like the witching metal style that Sodom played, but there's also like Bathory influence and stuff like that. It's fucking really cool. I think you guys probably remember, they put out an album called Hideous Obscure in 2016 that got a bit of attention. And basically it follows the same formula. 2 songs on this thing, Skeletal Laughter and then Temple of Mutants on the B-side. And there's the front cover right there. It's just got the Cult Burial logo with Skeletal Laughter. There's the back right there. It's got the lyrics for Skeletal Laughter. Just black vinyl, nothing super special, but just fantastic. Like almost thrashy style riffs with like super like reverbed vocals, super dark atmosphere. It's just great. I love this shit. Fantastic. If you guys haven't heard of Cult Burial, hop on it, man. This shit's great. So that's Skeletal Laughter. So I hope I never talked about this before, but I had a look and I can't find a video where I did. So if I did, sorry. This is the split with Bolan and Blue Hummingbird on the left. It's called Debajo del Simbolo del Sol. The perhaps too literal Google translation translates it to under the sun symbol. I would imagine that that means that it's basically under the symbol of the sun. I'm not certain. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know. So this came out in 2014, and it was originally just on cassette, I think until 2016 when I got it, when Final Agony managed to put it on this 7-inch vinyl here, and I think that's actually where I got this. So it's 500 copies. I think there was just black vinyl, which is what this is. But of these 2 bands, obviously I personally like Bolan more. Musically, it's just more interesting, and I think almost uncharacteristically more aggressive for Bolan. And Blue Hummingbird on the left is literally war metal. Vocally pretty interesting. I know in the second half of the song, just the guitars get a bit more interesting than in the first half. But it's a good song. I just prefer Bolan because just that style of metal is more my thing. That's the front cover right there. Obviously, if you guys are familiar with what the cassette looked like, it's a lot different than that. There's the back right there with the two band logos, Bolan, Blue Hummingbird on the left, which is a terrible name for a band. Here's the inside right here, Bolan, Blue Hummingbird on the left, and actually my dumbass never saw this before. It says under the symbol of the sun, so I was correct. And like I said, black vinyl, just labels with the band logos on it, nothing interesting. In short, just an interesting contrast between two very different styles of metal, black metal, whatever you want to call it. Bolan, Blue Hummingbird on the left, Debajo del Simbolo del Sol. Alright, next up, this is something that you guys have probably seen. It's something that you guys probably have. It's something that's really fucking good though, so I don't care. This is Mystic with Skalderfron or Skogens Dunkle Mystic. I certainly don't know what that translates to. I didn't look that one up. I just sort of had this like perception that everybody has this. Because it certainly, when this went up, it was selling out from everywhere pretty quickly. I don't think this is like prohibitively expensive on Discogs or anything like that, and I also don't think that this was super limited either. I could be wrong, I don't know for sure, but this is fucking great, man. This is one of those records, you'll put it on, you'll listen to it all the way through, and then you'll just want to flip it over and start over again. Now for some reason, a lot of people seem to have the idea that this is an album. I mean, if you look it up, it's pretty clearly a demo from 2010. And this originally had come out on cassette. And what they did here is they basically took the 2 songs that were on the cassette and broke them up into 6 songs to make them fit on a double LP. And the original songs were like, I think they were like 20-something minutes long each. So I guess in order to get them to fit on a record, I don't know how that shit works. They broke it up. I don't care, it doesn't matter to me, whatever. But there's the front cover right there, really fucking glossy. You can basically see everything that's in my room right there. Cool front cover, I like that a lot. There's the back right there with just some information put out on Purity Through Fire, track listing, credits, shit like that. Gatefold's pretty cool. You got a cool picture on this side, another picture in the middle here, and just some lyrics. Very glossy, of course. It's just black vinyl with nothing really interesting on the labels. Weirdly, this does say that it's supposed to be played on 45 RPM. It's not. It's actually supposed to be played on 33 RPM, so good job, Purity Through Fire. I had it playing like that for a couple minutes before I realized that it didn't sound right at all. So if you guys have that and you're wondering why, the labels are fucked up. But just a great, really fucking good demo. Mystic is one of the better Ancient Records bands, in my opinion. It's just really good, very memorable, very interesting musically. Good guitar performance, shit like that. This is great, man. You guys have heard it, but if you haven't, fuck, man. Mystic with, whatever the fuck this one's called. So have you guys noticed how I've really been into like live records and shit recently? Because I got another one here. This is Heilung with Lifa. This actually came to my attention through my buddy Damon. He had sent me a couple links one night, probably maybe like 6 months ago or something like that, and was like, dude, have you heard this? I put it on, I listened to like a minute of it, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't like it. I basically told him, I was like, it's not really my thing. He was like, no dude, just listen to like the 9-minute song that he had sent me. He said, listen to the whole thing. And every other time he's ever done that, I've really ended up loving whatever it is that he was trying to show me. So I did. And I fucking fell in love with this shit. I don't know how to describe this because it's certainly not a metal band. If you haven't heard of Heilung, they're from Denmark, and this is a live album that was recorded either last year or in 2016 at Castlefest in the Netherlands. I think Heilung, by the way, I think it's German or something for healing. But this is so fucking weird. It's kind of like experimental folk music. If you look up this band, it'll sort of mention amplified history, with sort of a focus on like Viking and Northern European heritage. And I think there are only 3 actual band members here. Before this live thing, there was a lot of people who played live. And the whole video is up on YouTube, and I really, really recommend that you listen to it. And don't just give it a fucking 2-minute listen like my dumbass did. Sit down and listen to the whole thing, because I don't think it's possible to not like this. It's super fucking tribal. It's incredibly just enchanting. The main guy who does like the sort of harsh vocals for this, he's literally like singing in harsh vocals. And that's seriously the best parts of this. It's catchy, it's memorable as fuck. Everything about this is just fucking great, but I've talked about it for a long time now, so let me show you what it looks like. There's a picture. I assume this is a picture from the live show, but I guess I can't be certain. The sides are numbered in the letters that make up Lifa in runes. There's the inside right there with some information about the live show and another picture from the actual show itself. Just some credits and shit down here for who played with the band live. And I actually wish there were more pictures and shit, like maybe on inner sleeves or something, but they didn't do that. It's just regular inner sleeves. But this is the version that I got. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's like blue and red, sort of swirly, like marbly shit on like clear vinyl, which is kind of cool. I don't have anything like this. I think this was limited to 200 copies, if I'm not mistaken. In short, man, this is fantastic. Really fucking cool. Just a journey. It's one of those ones you can't listen to this in parts. You have to listen to it all the way through. And it's kind of long, but it's absolutely worth the listen. And definitely listen to Lifa. They had an album that came out in like 2015, and I think it was a studio album called Ofnir or something like that. It's not bad, but it's certainly nowhere near the level of how good this is. So check it out, man. I don't know how to sell this to you anymore. That's Hailung with Lifa.
Existence, conflict, combat, defense, that's every generation. From my saga is the best I can do for you. I see a great loop up the horizon. This is a powerful sun to rise.
Alright, next up we have one of my favorite albums from last year. This is Grist with Arvet. So Grist has been around since 2011, and they formed in Sweden. And in terms of Swedish black metal, this is kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum from shit like Mystic, where this is almost that more sad, nature-y style of atmospheric black metal. This does bounce back and forth between like folky acoustic guitars and the faster black metal sections that have just some of my favorite fucking vocals probably ever. They're kind of like distinctly pained and howled. And they sound, the guy just sounds fucking like sad and like he's yelling, and there's so much emotion and just power behind it. It's so fucking good. I feel like this got a lot of attention last year, so you guys have probably heard it. But if you haven't seen it, it's actually quite nice as well. Put out on Nordvist Productions. You can get this through Bindrune, probably still. There's the back cover right there with just the track listings, and you have some information about the recording, whatever. This comes with a couple things here. First off, it comes with a poster, which I actually quite like. I had this hanging for a bit, but I fucking changed it. And it also comes with a booklet here with that same picture that was on the poster. You have a picture, there's the guy who does everything for this band, because it is a one-man project. This includes lyrics and shit like that, which are all in Swedish, so they're useless to me. It is just black vinyl, very simple labels, and I think this was 300 copies. Worthy of one of my favorite albums of last year. If you guys haven't heard Grift, just super moody, atmospheric black metal. So if you dig it, if you're into that kind of shit, check out one of the best of the best. That's Grift with Arvet. Alright, next is something that's taken quite a bit less seriously. This is Old Funeral with Our Condolences. So I think that this makes up everything that Old Funeral here ever did. Just a few demos, there's some live stuff on here, a couple covers, including a Slaughter cover and a Gothicles cover. So this is one of those bands that I'd heard about for all fucking years, but I knew they hadn't been around in 20-something years. I knew they never released a full-length album. It was just kind of one of those things, you know, it was one of those bands, flew right over my head. But it wasn't until I started seeing this go around that I actually looked up to see more about it, and the band members is really what caught my attention. Specifically the fact that Abbath, Demonaz, and Varg all had part in some of these demos that are on here. And it was with that I sort of decided I was going to check this out. And I'm glad I did, because this is really good, very simple, raw, primitive death metal. Simple enough that it becomes catchy, it's memorable, it's just really fucking good. But it's absolutely not meant to be taken seriously. I mean, some of the song titles on here, just some of the shit that you'll read on the inside of this, which that's what it looks like right there. You can tell that this was never taken seriously. Yeah, front cover, which has got a cool picture of like an old like hearse with a coffin coming out of it. Back cover, I showed you the inside a minute ago. It comes with a couple of inner sleeves, which got pictures of some of the band members that played on some of these. And of course, all of the like inlays and covers for the actual original cassettes, flyers, shit like that are all over these. There's the other inner sleeve right there with a picture of the band. And same shit on the other side. Now this is a double LP. I think this was this compilation was originally released in 2013. This is the third press of that, which is like this sort of hazy, very semi-translucent clear vinyl. But really, really nice quality. I think this was 300 copies, I think. Nope, 500 copies, I just looked. So real fun, real good, catchy, simple death metal from the 80s and very early 90s. Before Immortal, before Burzum. Fantastic, man. That sounds interesting, even if, you know, you just like the band members. Check this shit out. Good stuff. Old Funeral, Our Condolences. Finally, we're going to finish with another atmospheric black metal project from the United States. This is Falls of Rauros with Perennial. Falls of Rauros are from Maine, and they have that sort of Cascadian black metal sound, which that's the best way I know how to describe it. And these guys have actually been around for a while. I think this is like the 4th LP or something like that. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the other ones on vinyl. I have Believe in No Coming Shore on CD that came out in like 2014. And I have the split with Panopticon, but I don't have any of the other full-length albums on vinyl, which is a shame, and it's something that I want to get around to, but whatever. This shit, though, is very, very good. This is one of those albums that sounds big, it sounds grandiose, it's super, like, epic, and very memorable guitar work on pretty much every one of the songs on this thing. It's basically just all the best qualities of atmospheric black metal. And kind of like that Grist album, the vocals are a lot louder in the mix than a lot of other atmospheric black metal projects seem to do, where it seems like it's way in the background, real distant, and you can't hear what the fuck's going on. This isn't like that. This is like, sort of like shrieky, screamed vocals that are loud enough in the mix. It sort of works perfectly. And one of the things that this does that I like a lot with this kind of stuff is when it trades off between the harsher atmospheric black metal parts with the calm acoustic parts. And this does that very liberally, which I adore. I don't remember where I put this on my best of list last year, but I know it was on there, and I know it was a pretty good spot, and good for good reason. Here's the album cover, which I'm not crazy about. I actually prefer pretty much every other album cover this band's ever done. But that's besides the point. There's the back right there with the band logo. You got the track listing. Again, put out on Nordvis, and again, you can get this from Bindroom. Comes with a inner sheet with all the lyrics and a picture of the man himself. And this is on clear vinyl, kind of the same exact clear as that Old Funeral was. I think this was actually limited to 1,000 copies, and you can probably still get this. But really fucking good. Very sort of unique for this style of atmospheric black metal. It's just a fun album. It's a big album. And it's worth your time. So, Falls of Rauros, Perennial. So that's it, guys. That's another fucking video done. I'm gonna get another one of these vinyl collection videos done probably tomorrow. And edit it then, because those are a lot more fun for me to make right now than these updates are. But in due time it'll all be done, and you guys will have more of this shit. So if you like it, just stay tuned. More coming always. So yep, see you in the next one, guys. Later.